Hello to all of you. Well, time for a weekly wealth insight. And one of the most important things that I want to share with you is, well, actually two things that I want to share with you. The first one is know thyself. So what I mean by that, and I spoke about this last week, is that there's this incredible test out there called the Enneagram. And it's 5,000 years old. It's older than religion. And it's really, really interesting. And we actually have a webinar literally next week on this, the psychology of money and how it marries together with Enneagram and wealth. And you can see here that I'm an 8. Okay, I'm a very strong 8. My second strongest is a 3, and then my third strongest is a 7. Now you have no idea what that means, but in simple terms, I'm super driven. I like to go out there and achieve things, and I'm very goal driven. So it's really, really important. So there's two parts to this wealth insight. One is I would highly recommend turning up on Tuesday to come and actually learn all about this and figure out how you can do this for yourself. Because to know thyself is the most important thing in life. And that relates to all parts of your life, but also in terms of investing and wealth. I want to then take that through to the second part, which is that I, spend my whole life doing goals. And I know people think I'm crazy, and to some extent I am. I acknowledge that. But if you go to my goals, and I'm just going to ton of 2022 here, and I open up my different goals, you can basically see, so this is all based on Tony Robbins' stuff. And I read his book, what the hell is it called now? Awaken the Giant Within. And I went and built all the formulas. So you can kind of see you've got all different areas of your life: financial, vocational, mental, family, social and spiritual, physical and health, spiritual and contribution. And I kind of put it all the way through. I did this in my 20s, and I put it all the way through until I was 60, because everyone knows that when you're 60, you're practically dead. Now that I'm, a little bit older, 60 is not so far away anymore. But anyway, I kind of went through and I had all my different areas and what was important, and I kind of put them all down. And then I broke down. So this is like my whole life's goal. And then I went through and I then did my SMART goals. And you can see kind of daily, weekly, monthly, weekly plan, financial, vocational, mental. And I had a breakdown into right, those are my lifetime goals. What am I going to do this year, etc. And it was hugely complex. And, to add to that and to give you an idea, during COVID, I did what's called a life book, which is kind of 7 areas to your life. And, it's an entire book. This is about 280 pages long. Actually, sorry, there's not 7 areas. This is 12 areas to your life. So, and I mean, it's literally a detailed book on everything I want about my life, financial, relationships, and everything else. And my wealth insight is actually, as I said to you, it's 2-part. One is knowing thyself. And then the second part is simplicity is power. And it's really interesting for me because one of the things I'm learning over time is that you can have all of this detail. And by the way, I think it's very valuable to have all of the detail, but you've then got to get quite specific. And, one of the things I do at a mastermind level when I do the one-to-one coaching with people is I get very, very specific on what are your top 3 outcomes you want to achieve in the next 12 months? And what are your top 3 measures? And we write those down. Now we run, it's a 90-minute to 2-hour process where we take all the noise out of their head and we literally get clear on what are your top 3 outcomes and what are your top 3 measures. And it's amazing the simplicity that leads through to the power. Because once you've got simplicity and once you've got clarity, then you can really action those and you can make sure they become a reality. And what I've learned is when I had 50 things on my to-do list or 500 things I wanted to achieve, I achieve very little towards any of them. But if I have 3 things that are critically important, and I do it with kind of that focus, and then I have consistency and persistence to check in on a weekly and a monthly basis, that's when it becomes a reality. And so, unfortunately, this has been a hard learning lesson for me because goals and ambitions and dreams and results and everything have been a massive driver for me in my life. But I've had so many of them, and then you kind of, you've got too much focus. And the first time I learned this properly was from a guy called Chet Holmes. So Chet Holmes, unfortunately, he's passed away now, but he wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. And interesting enough, he doubled the sales in 50 of the Fortune 500 companies. So those are the top 500 companies in the world. And he doubled the sales in 50 of those companies. And he subsequently went on to write a book about it. And I learned from him personally. He trained me personally. And the reason being is that he said, most people in business are trying to do 4,000 different things. And what you need to do is there's 12 core skills in business and you need to do them 4,000 different times. And he was a karate master. And he said, you know, if you learn in karate, you do the same move over and over and over again until it's perfected. And I think that's a good metaphor for me to finish off here, because rather than trying to do 4,000 different things, in fact, rather than even trying to do 12 different things, focus on your top 3 outcomes and your top 3 measures. If you'd like me to help you, you know, apply to the mastermind and we can see whether you qualify, and I can take you personally through that process. But anyway, 2 things to remember. 1, come along to the webinar next week on the whole psychology of wealth and the Enneagram of wealth. I think you'll get a huge amount of understanding in terms of knowing thyself. Help me know why I'm so results and goal and, you know, driven, etc. And also how I can improve and mature and become a better version of myself. And secondly, in life, take away all the noise and get clear on your top 3 things, top 3 outcomes you want to achieve, and your top 3 measures. You'll make a lot more progress, particularly if you do that on a regular basis. Hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy. We like to bring these out on a weekly basis. And most importantly, you know, do it. And if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends. Our whole purpose is to help everybody invest like the top 1%. We need to collectively take responsibility to do that. And it all starts with the mindset. Till next week. Cheers.